Hello, everybody. It's November 2nd, otherwise known as Dia de los Muertos or Day of the Dead. Yeah, I mean, I don't like celebrate it, I guess, but because but I just thought it was interesting. I like holidays that I don't really know much about. Um, and I mean, this one, what I know about it is it's like its origins are in like Mexican culture. And some believe that it goes as far back as like Aztec culture as its origins, but yeah, and it's pretty like positive looking holiday. It's very festive and it's not like a somber day. It's not like a because it's called Day of the Dead, but I mean the celebration of that holiday is you like commemorating the person's life of the people who have passed on, that type of thing. It's not like we're not mourning them, we're celebrating that they were alive at all. And to that, I kind of felt like I wanted to discuss my dead in my life, and so I want to get into it. So, to start it off, I am named after an uncle. His name is Gerry, but he went by Bo. It was like a nickname, from what I remember, if I remember correctly. I think my mother gave that nickname to him, but don't quote me on that. But I'm named after him, and yeah, I don't know a whole lot about him, unfortunately. He doesn't really get talked about him at all, which is fine. I mean, I can understand people not bringing it up. It's a sad thing. He died from cancer, and yeah, I personally didn't really know him that well, or like at all. I don't really have any memory of him. Unfortunately, although there are pictures of him like holding me as a baby, I do believe, if memory serves, and yeah, I think like from bits and pieces that I've heard about him, I think, and just like seeing him in pictures, I feel like we would have gotten along pretty well. We would have gotten along great, but it's not like I'm never gonna know him. I mean, you can believe what you want to believe, but like, when my time comes, and it's gonna come one day, as it is for all of us, it's not something to be sad about. Like you can be sad about it if you want, but death really isn't. I mean, it gets me. Like obviously, it's normal to have emotions, but just be happy you lived, and happy you had the time you had with those you had the time with, and you're gonna see them again when you transition into death, which is what death is. We've really warped the idea of death as like, oh, it's the end. Even if you believe there's an afterlife, it's kind of like you view it like it's the end. And in a way, it is, but it's not as finite, or it's not as final as we've made it out to be. It really isn't. But again, some people, they don't believe. Some people are atheists and they don't believe in afterlife and all that, and that's fine. I'm not trying to impose my beliefs onto you, but I do know we do exist after this. And you'd be like, you don't know, and like, I do, but I don't want to come off more crazy than I already do sometimes. So I'm just gonna leave that there. But and as for Bo, I don't know him all that well, but it's okay, because whenever my time comes, I'll be able to know literally every aspect of his life. I'm gonna know everything about him. I'm gonna meet him. I'm gonna talk to him, and I'll even remember whenever I cross over. I'll end up remembering those little moments where he held me and he was there and stuff, and I'll remember it all. This is just a world of limitations, and our brain can only just process and remember so much, especially at the early stages of life. You really don't remember a whole lot of that, but you will when you transition into death. Yeah, so, and then, but my first experience with death for me was my, because Bo was my mom's brother. And then my dad's mother, Doris, she passed away 2008. And, you don't really understand and process death until you've actually experienced it yourself. And, I experienced it and I was like, whoa, that's a real thing. And, it's sad, but that's life. Or I guess that's death. Yeah, and then a couple years after that, in 2010, my dad's dad also passed away. Gerald. He and it's good that they went like one after the other, pretty short. That they got to not be parted for too long. So, I mean, it's a sad thing, but, what I try to reinforce over and over is to look at the positive, even in the most negative of situations. There's always a good within the bad if you look for it. And, yeah, it's sad that they're gone. It is, I remember them. I remember we used to go over to their house all the time, my grandma and grandpa. My dad's parents, and we always had Long John Silver's. And if you did not experience Long John Silver's back then, you did not experience it at its prime. Apparently they changed like the oil and grease that they cooked their stuff in to make it healthier, but I mean, fried food is not healthy in and of itself. Why? I don't know why. Because back then, their chicken, oh my God, it was to die for. It was so good. And we went over there all the time. We had Long John Silver's, and it was good chicken, really good stuff. We'd eat in the backyard sometimes. We'd eat in their kitchen. I remember their dog, Jessie, the little white dog, Jessie, that they had. And, she's no longer with us as well. Or I believe it was a she, right? It could have been a male Jessie. I know that's one of those names go either way. I think I remember it being a girl, but I could be wrong, so don't quote me on that. Yeah, I remember, I remember the layout of their house, and I remember there's this, I really wish I could get a hold of that. I'm sure it's long gone by now, but there was like a little, I don't know, there's this Indian statue thing that they had by their sink, and I always remember looking at that, and I was like, that looks cool. I'm sure it's thrown away by now. It's not. It is what it is. But yeah, I think about them every day. I got their picture up in my house, and I see them every day. And yeah, I don't know them nearly as much as I do my mom's parents, but that's okay. Because, like I said, believe what you want, but I'm going to know every single thing about them when my time comes. So it's goodbye for now. It's not goodbye. And I understand that's hard to see in this, when you're in it, when we're in this whole life thing. I understand that. But you just got to know that they're not gone. And everybody is with us still. They're literally with us right now. We are energy. We are souls, and that is limitless. We are limited here. We are limitless in our true form, and so we are able to literally be with everybody that we loved and care about simultaneously. We're not beholden to being in one specific spot. We can be everywhere. Everything, everywhere, all at once. And so my brush with death with my dad's parents, it it affected me. I was a kid, and so I gravitated. I think that's probably how I was coping. I was like, well, I gotta make sure see my grandparents more, and those who are older, and so I gravitated to my mom's parents, and my mom's dad, he's still alive, his name's Gerry as well. Well, no, okay, so, and my grandma, my mom's mom is Dolores, and I'll get there in a second. But this is just interesting coincidence. I already said coincidence in the last video. I already said coincidences aren't real, but it's interesting because there's just things that mirror each other in our lives, and I'm not going to say addresses and stuff, but like we literally, different people in our family have we happen to live in different parts of of this world, right? With addresses that are just like the same words flipped. It's just, I don't know, in multiple different variations of that, and it's so weird. It's so weird. It's just coincidental. But also I bring that up because like my dad's parents' name is Doris and Gerald, and then my mom's parents, her name is Dolores and Gerry. And yeah, they're different, obviously, but like Dolores, Gerald, and Gerry, it's weird. It's a little weird. I think it's cool though. I really like that. But yeah. So I gravitated through death. I gravitated to my mom's parents as like a coping mechanism. And I ended up befriending my grandmother. She became my best friend. Okay, this is part where I'm gonna get emotional because her death is very recent. In comparison to the rest, that doesn't devalue their deaths or anything. It's just like it just happened. In comparison, it happened in December of last year. And yeah, now we're approaching December, a full year without her. Oh man. And it hits me because she wasn't just my grandmother. She was my best friend, and ever since like 2008 up until 2023, we like I got a little not as consistent in the later years, but like once a week we would I'd go over to her house, and me and Grandma, and sometimes Grandpa wasn't working or whatever, or doing what he was doing. Me and Grandpa, we would watch movies and shows together, and we bonded through that. And she was just so intelligent, so wise, and she held her family together so well, and you can really notice her absence. Just because, man, I don't know. I hear arguments with her siblings, and it's just, she would be a little upset, I think, but with how how things have gone. But things are going from time to time, but she's always there supporting everyone involved. I know that. Anyway, yeah, but we watched movies all the time, and I had no idea what she would like, so I don't know. I ended up showing her like science fiction stuff, and I didn't realize until later that she ended up hating that type of stuff. But she watched it for me. Um, I showed her like Doctor Who and she liked older movies and stuff. So, and like Doctor Who was like started in 1963, and so like I showed her some of the old stuff, and I don't know. She stuck around with it longer than she probably should have. And then I showed her the newer stuff, and she really liked. I mean, even though sci-fi wasn't her thing, she did like the doctors there. She liked David Tennant, the 10th Doctor, and she liked Matt Smith, the 11th Doctor, and Peter Capaldi, the 12th. And that's as far as she kind of got. And from time to time, she'd see them pop up or something and be like, "Hey, I just saw the Doctor in this or that." And like, yeah. So, we watched all sorts of things. I showed her Breaking Bad, such a great show, and showed her Justified, my favorite show of all time, and yeah, it was. It's always fun. We would go. I would go over there every like Tuesday typically, and we'd have tea. We call it Tea Tuesday. I remember. I still gotta watch it again. I've only watched it once, and I watched it with her. Her favorite movie was Vertigo. Alfred Hitchcock's Vertigo, and she just loved it. And I remember watching it, and like, I even told her, I was like, I don't know, I just don't understand what's happening. I mean, I think maybe I was sleepy that day or something. I don't know. But yeah, she's like, really? It's such a good movie. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I gotta watch it one more time. So I haven't gotten around to that. I need to. She loved classical music, and she's really what got me into classical music. I listen to movies from like listen to songs from like the the 50s and 60s, and even sometimes earlier than that. She loved Glenn Miller. I love his stuff too. The Ink Spots, Artie Shaw. Yeah, it's good stuff. Always good stuff, and she loved Elvis, and I'm glad she got to see that newer movie, that 2022 movie Elvis starring Austin Butler, because she really loved that. It was a long movie, but she loved it. It's like close to like 3-ish hours. It was like 2.5, but like a little bit more, I think. But I don't know. I really liked that movie. It was a good movie. I'm glad she liked it. She really loved it. She was like, man, it's just how I remember him. Yeah, but yeah, Tea Tuesday. Yeah, we'd always have her tea, and I always put way too much sugar. I still do. Whenever I have tea, I put way too much sugar, just because I like the sweetness. It's crazy. She'd see me pour in my sugar, and she's like, "Oh, you want a little tea with your sugar?" Instead of like a little sugar with your tea, But yep, I miss her. I miss them all, even if I don't really remember that much of Bo. They're still with me, and I think about all of them. Always do, always will. And I'll even the parts of grandma's life that I know nothing about. I'll one day, whenever I cross over, I'll know. I'll know all about it, because we'll be sitting and just discussing life and all that. So yeah. Anyways, yeah, I saw that it was the Day of the Dead, and I really wanted to make a video like this, Yeah, so yep. I'm gonna go ahead and probably cut it off here. I hope everyone's doing well. I'll come back later and finish this video with like a recap of the day, I guess, because it's just kind of like the beginning of the day right now. And do a little progress report. But I did want to do this. I wanted to do this. Got a little emotional. I hope I don't really make other family members who might watch this upset, but you know, I'm not gonna pretend that just because they're gone that well, gone, you know, physically for us, you know, I'm not gonna like pretend that they didn't happen, you know, because they did, you know. And yeah, it can make you very emotional, obviously, but you know, it all works out in the end. So hope everyone's doing good. And you know, just know that you're dead, or you know, those who have transitioned into death, your loved ones, your angels, all that, they're watching over you right now. They love you. I love you. And yeah, we'll catch you later in this video. Hi. So the rest of my day consisted really mainly just of me going down to Sister Dearest's humble abode, and me, my brother, father, mother, we all went down to Sister's, and we worked on setting up the fence, the new fence we're putting up at Sister's house. And still got some more work to do on that, but yeah, we were mixing cement, and we were putting up the poles and moving boards and cement blocks and all that jazz, and good old grand time as we're doing it, making jokes and stuff as we do, lighten the day. Yeah, I mean, sounds boring and whatnot, but it was actually fun. It was fun for me. I had a good time. Always do whenever I'm with the fam. It doesn't matter what we do. Always brightens my day. Pip pip cheerio. Yeah, and you know, I did not get around to working out, but honestly, that whole thing was honestly a workout in and of itself, so I'm giving myself a pass. I don't care. But yeah, no, and I did not get around to writing either. Although I did, some like new fresh ideas came to me about the story I'm writing now, about the story and then other subsequent stories in the series down the line. And just certain pieces and stuff started, you know, connecting to me, with me and stuff. And I have like an even wider picture and a better, clearer idea of the story. So yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Yeah, so I didn't get any writing done. I didn't read either. I mean, I always take my book to bed, and I might read a chapter before I go to bed. We'll see, but either way, doesn't matter. Tomorrow's a new day. Although progress-wise, I don't know how well progress I'll make tomorrow. But that's I don't really care, because you know, tomorrow's Sunday, and Sunday is like my family day. You know, the plan is to, you know, as I do, hang out with brother, and then towards the end of the day, head over to mother and father's and reconvene with brother and sister, and obviously mother and father, and then you know, the nieces will be there, and yeah, we'll have our family dinner, our weekly family dinner, and yeah, woohoo. So yeah, if no progress is made for writing or reading, it doesn't really matter. For Sundays, that's the one day I really like. I'm good with not, you know, because that's the day I spend time with the family, and then after dinner, you know, a lot of times I'll stay and I'll watch shows with gross. Score. I'll usually stay and watch shows with mother and father. So, And I imagine we might end up starting The White Lotus. Might watch another episode of Brother's Son with Dad. We've also been starting, like, because we also like to mix it up with a little, like, something that's short and funny, kind of, and stuff. And so we started a show called Dead to Me. I haven't mentioned that yet. We've only watched a couple episodes of that. It's not bad. It's on Netflix. Yeah. So that's probably what's all going to be happening tomorrow, unless things change. And if they do, they do. They do. Zack, you're so funny. Oh, yeah, I know. Anyways, yeah. My mental state. Here's the big kicker. My mental state is at fucking 8. It's back at 8, bitch. I feel great. And, I mean, largely in part to just being around my family. It literally doesn't matter what we do. I could be around them for like a minute or so. We could just be doing a whole lot of nothing, and it'll make me feel better. You know, they're my world. So, yeah, I'm feeling great. And, you know, that's the whole thing of why I was glad to post the videos of me being all saddy boy and whatnot, because, guys, you can rise back up. You go down, but you'll come back up. All right, just positive mindset, love yourself, love others, and you'll just see yourself go back up. And that's what I'm doing. I'm going the frick back up, bud. I can't wait until you guys see me at like a 9 or a 10 out of 10 on the mental health scale, because, my God, I've had days like that, even so much as recently. And I'm telling you, it's a whole new level of Zack. I am a whole different person. I just do not give a fuck. Pardon my French. I am so sorry. I'll try to refrain on the cursing. So, but at the same time, I'm being my authentic self. So I'm sorry if that upsets people with the cursing and stuff. I'll try to keep that to a minimum. But sometimes it slips out. Yeah. Oh yeah, I also watched Mad Max Fury Road. That's the one out of all the Mad Max movies that's really the most hyped. And I think it's a little overhyped. Not to hate. And I don't hate it. Like I don't dislike it. That was my favorite of the Mad Max films. I gave the first one a 5.5 out of 10. The second one was a 6.5 out of 10. Third one was a 5 out of 10. And then this one, I gave it like a 7 out of 10. I thought it was pretty dang good. It's more style over substance. There isn't really like, if you're really wanting something like, it's one of those things you just turn your brain off and you just enjoy it as it is. And I respect that. I loved it. And I'm excited to watch Furiosa, and whenever I get around to that, might not be able to do that tomorrow, but sometime later in the week of next week. Yeah, and then I plan to watch the movie that came out in the year 2000, Gladiator. Never watched it, and I know that they're making a sequel, Gladiator 2, and the trailers for that and stuff looked really cool. But I want to watch the first one, so I'm going to watch that at some point. So I need to watch that, and then I'll watch the second one. Hopefully I'll be able to watch that in theaters, because that'll be in theaters here towards late November, and I want to go to the freaking theater, for God's sakes. Yeah, and then I never watched the new Dune, of the new Dune movies that there's, part 1, part 2. I've seen part 1, I've seen that in theaters, and I think I've seen it like one more time when it came out on DVD and stuff, but I never watched it ever since then, and I kind of need a refresher, so I'm going to go back and watch part 1 of Dune at some point. And then I'm going to watch the new one, Dune Part 2, and I know Austin Butler is going to be in it. He's in that, and he's an actor I really like. He was in that Elvis movie. He's phenomenal in that, so... And, I'm told by a trusted source that the Dune Part 2 is way better than the first one, and it's really good. So I believe that it really will be good. So I got some pretty, you know, high-ish expectations for Dune Part 2, you know. It's been a while since I've seen it, you know, so I gotta refresh and then be like, oh right, okay, all right, now I'm really hyped. All right, let's watch Part 2, you know. So anyways, yeah, so that's the progress report of the day. Today has been the Day of the Dead. You know, never forget your dead, or the people who have transitioned into death from life. They're always with you, and they love you dearly, as do I. So yeah, have a great day. Have a great day tomorrow. Have a great day after that, and I will see you